Welcome to Folio, an actual play podcast about solo and epistolary TTRPGs. I'm your host, Satah, and I'm showcasing multiple possible experiences of self-paced games by inviting guests to play them alongside me so I can compile our stories together. You can support the show financially at patreon.com/foliopod or with a one-off donation at ko-fi.com/foliopod. This is episode 2 of Our Games of Highway Haunt, a one-page journaling, narration, story-building game inspired by the world of Alice Isn't Dead and the gameplay of Yahtzee by Jacqueline Lewis. The other two in it for the long haul, as it were, with me today are Adam Vass and Joe. Thank you for your patience in the highly unusual release schedule for this series. It is going to be wrapped up before the end of the month, and it will be the final series of the year for Folio. Be back at some point early-ish in 2026. Don't know exactly when yet, but probably not too far into things. Just want to give myself some time to catch up on transcripts and trailers and other stuff that's really fallen by the wayside as I've tried to keep up a completely unsustainable release schedule for this show on top of everything else. And next year, gonna do it differently. Not sure how yet, but in a way that is cool and effective and good, and we like it. We're gonna like it. We're gonna like it, and it's gonna feel nice. That's the goal. Thank you.
God, I thought this was supposed to be a scary game. I am so sorry if this is not the tone, but but it's just what's coming up to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm playing this wrong, but I'm also the storyteller. Darn it.
We're gonna roll the dice again. I put my gasoline down 1 again. It's 23.
Let's get something good. Come on.
Alright, got a pair of 4s, 1, 2, and 6. Let's re-roll those 3. See how many 4s I can get in one turn. I got 1, 2, and 6 again, which is very strange.
I rolled 2 3s, 4, and a 6.
2, 3, 4, 4, 6. Unbelievable. I have never played a game of Yahtzee that turned out that gave me this many options. I've truly had some stinker rounds of Yahtzee, and I wish that my luck for this storyteller game was a little bit more transferable to that.
I'm kind of thinking of re-rolling the 1 3 and the 1 to see if I can make this either a large straight or a small straight. I think I'm just going to do that.
Gonna re-roll one more time. I'm gonna cut myself off after a certain number of re-rolls because I'm running low on gas.
This is when we're going to start to get into the strategy that I simply cannot do. Got a 1 and a 4, so no. I'm going to do it again.
4 4. Oh boy.
A 1 and a 3. Bad ones. Okay.
So I'm at 24 right now because I've rolled once and then I rolled again.
I got a third 4 and 2 6s. That's a full house. I forgot that was an option, so I'm going to use the full house. And I'm at 15 gas now. I'm halfway through an empty tank, so I hope there's an opportunity to refill.
I can refuel at one point. So I'm doing okay. Which, you know what? Fuck it. I'm putting my gasoline down one more again. I just need... Hey, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, they really do turn up the difficulty.
I rolled 2 5s, which means I have a 3, 4, 5, and a 6, plus the extra 5. But 3, 4, 5, 6 is a small straight.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Murphy. Well, okay. It's starting. Now my bad luck is showing up. I'm just going to take 1s.
If you have 4 dice showing consecutive values, add 30 to the journey score. Nice.
If you have 2 dice showing one value and 3 dice showing another, add 25 to the journey score. That brings me to 104.
The worst ending is journey score of under 100. Then 150 isn't great. 150 and 200 is pretty good, and 200 is quite good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm already at 99.
I got 2 1s, so my score is now 82.
The chime of your ringtone sounds, and you pick up your phone to hear a voice you weren't expecting. who is on the other end? Are they of this world? If you increased your journey score, what about the conversation gives you closure? Shoot, okay. So my phone rings. It's someone from home that I trust. I think that I have someone who checks in on my dog while I'm away. And they're calling just to catch up rather than leave a text or a message. They decide to check in on me and see how I'm doing. And it grounds me again. I think this sort of tension from the night prior hasn't completely left my body. And they call to say, Duke is doing well and almost caught a squirrel in the yard today and is just, as happy and goofy as ever. I can hear him like wagging his tail, and his tail hits the cupboards and sort of echoes through the kitchen loud enough that it comes through the receiver. And I think that's the final thing that puts me at ease, that allows me to just sort of get back to the work and not wonder. Not the sense of wonder, but the sense of anxiety that was sort of building inside me fizzles and fades as I'm reminded of just how life's simple pleasure and the need to feel at home is attainable.
What does the weather suddenly change to? What is unnatural about it? Well, I literally just brought up that it was going to start storming, and it does in fact start storming. I'm sure that somebody who is a lifelong Oklahoma City resident may be able to contradict me, may be able to put me in my place, but it actually starts to hail really badly on the highway. So Henry is really kind of hoping for some level of rest stop that comes up pretty soon. Maybe one that's even sheltered, maybe, so that he can get his park his truck in a place that maybe would minimize some damage. But yeah, I think if it starts to hail, not only does Brenda the hitchhiker become more prominently stuck in his mind as a point of concern, but also the conditions of the road as well.
You pull into the parking lot of a restaurant you've never seen before. What compelled you to stop here? If you increased your journey score, you see a figure inside and feel the urge to sit and eat with them. What do you say to one another? Ooh. Pull into the parking lot of a restaurant you've never seen before. Why did I stop? I'm going to look at the Uncanny Visions table and the Sudden Emotions table and the Mysterious Forces table. I rolled a 4, which would be a swirl of black mist or awe. That's the emotion, awe. Or threats to your livelihood you don't understand. Ooh, rolling the swirl of black mist, which I rolled in my character creation thing, being related to what haunts me. I think that's fun to have that be related. It's either the restaurant is named after, the restaurant's name is the name of the ritual we did when we were younger, whatever our weird magic thing was. Or the logo, it has a big, sign with a cutout logo that looks, I think it's both. Yeah. It looks like the sigil that we drew for whatever our weird ritual was, but cartoony. Or maybe it's the kind of thing where it's a ritual where I don't want to do sacrifice, I don't want to do animal violence, but it's for the ritual we used fur from one of our pet bunnies that just shaved a tiny bit of fur off the bunny, which they did get in trouble for, but they weren't hurt. It's okay. And so it's it's a restaurant that is called, the first word that came to mind was excavator. Yeah, it's called Excavation North, which is a weird name for a restaurant, but the ritual that we did was a ritual of excavation, and we had to go to the northernmost part of the town to do it, and we had to use this rabbit fur. And so the logo of it is a bunny. It's called Excavation North. And I'm like, what? That's too many things that are related to this ritual that we did. And I'm hungry. I think this is the thing that's interesting to me with a character that's in this situation is the ability to both be like, oh, that seems to be connected. No, that's not real. What I'm noticing is that I'm really hungry and just having weird thoughts and making stuff up. I'm going to go in and eat. That's what compelled me to stop there. And I see a figure inside and feel the urge to sit and eat with them. What do you say to one another? Gonna roll on the ominous statements and bad memories tables to see what we talk about. Got a 6. On bad memories, 6 is your biggest heartbreak. And the ominous statement is all freedom has a price. Well, that's perfect. Holy shit. Yeah. Okay. I sit and I eat with this person. Why do I do that? I know that last time I played this, yeah, I think that this was my answer the first time I tried to play it when I only got like 2 prompts in, which is that like there's like a very specific type of pie that this place makes. Like I walk in and I'm like, oh, I saw on the sign that you're famous for your rhubarb passion fruit pie. Can I get a slice of that? And the server is like, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. We just sold our last one. And I follow her eyes to somebody who's sitting there and they look up and they smile and they're like, ooh, you're not from around here. I get this once a week. Come split it with me. I don't mind. And I'm like, okay. And I go and I sit with them and I order a meal as well, but split this pie before it even comes as an appetizer, and it is really good. That combination of flavors sounds problematic to me, but why not? It's really good. And yeah, talk about biggest heartbreak and every freedom has a price. Easy talking about the breakup. And I think like, yeah, we're just, this stranger, she's like, so you're on the road. Why? And I'm like, oh, I'm working for this company. I'm still, oh yeah, I'm driving. I'm a truck driver. I just started. And she's like, oh, right. So that's why you've never been here before. All of the truckers come through here. You're going to be here a lot. Believe me, you'll have a lot of chances and you're going to get this pie every time. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. It's really good. And she's like, so this is a new job? Like, why did you, what were you doing before? What made you start? And I just sort of stumblingly, I'm like, oh, I moved and no, I'm looking for a new thing. And, my ex and I just broke up. Well, no, we didn't break up. She died. But we probably should have. Sorry. I moved and I needed a new job. You can pretend I just said that. And she like laughs and she's like, wow, no, I can see why you just sort of blurt that out. That sounds like it's a lot. Sounds like it was complicated. And I'm like, it was complicated. And I think I'm realizing more and more every day how much more complicated it was than I thought. And she's like very sympathetic. And I think she says like, she tells a story of, it was a different situation, but like she broke up with somebody, she got divorced, and then they died a few years later. And, she had these irrational like regrets of like, maybe we should have stayed together just for those last years. Like, would that have been better? No, we weren't very good for each other. And it's selfish almost, she says. Like, she's like, the breakup, like they took a little while to get back on their feet, but like then we both found people who were way better for us, and their last years were happier because of it. But selfishly, some part of me wished that I could have them because I had so many of the ones before. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling a lot of that. And I think there's also there's a moment just to add like a slight supernatural touch here where I think like we're having this conversation and silence falls. We're just finishing up this pie. My food comes and she's looking at me, and she gets like a kind of shrewd look on her face, and she's like, hey, this is gonna sound crazy, but, you know, if you hear from her, your ex, I mean, anywhere west of here, don't listen. And I like look up at her slowly, and she's like, I know that sounds crazy. I'm like, yeah, what about east? She's like, east? You're good. I've been coming from the east. She's like, no, you hear from the east, it's probably fine. But just, you know, when you get west of here, don't listen anymore. Just laying out that something weird changes its spiritual energy at this exact diner. And there be demons west. Or something. Is I guess the implication. And I'm just like, I just nod. I don't think we talk about it. Like what happened explicitly. Because it's just a little bit too much for me. Maybe the closest we get is that she's like, does that sound crazy? And I'm like, it does sound crazy. But I'm avoiding eye contact. And then my food comes, actually. Or like the server is like, oh, I forgot this hot sauce, and brings it over. And after that, we just chat idly about, she's like, oh, here's the places that I hear that you should stop on the routes. Like, this is, you're gonna want to pull into this one fast food place because it looks like your truck will fit. It will not. You will get stuck trying to get out. Don't go there. Go like a couple kilometers beyond and you'll find one that actually is accessible. Just like stuff that she's heard from other truckers passing through. Yeah, that's it.
That one was pretty simple, but I'm going to try and roll again for the next scenario.
Let's go to turn 5.
1, 2, 3, 3, 6. I'm going to roll one of the 3s and 6s to try and get a small straight. I'm looking for a 4.
1, 2, 2, 5, 5.
Okay, that's 2 6s. Not great.
Already done 2 pair, of course. Already done full house. And so I think what I'm going to do is re-roll the 1 and both 2s. Try and get another 5 or more.
Come on, give me a 4. Give me a 4. Come on. Damn.
All right. I got a 3, a 6, and a 5. Do I want to re-roll this 3 and the 6 just in case I get another 5? I do. I love to roll dice.
Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm just going to take 2s.
I got a 4 and a 6. Okay, so got the 3 5s. I could do 3 of a kind, or I could do 5s. They would add the same amount to my journey score, but 3 of a kind is more flexible, so I think I'll take 5s.
3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. That's a small straight. I'll take it.
Add the values of all dice showing 5s to the journey score.
Add the values of all dice showing 2s to the journey score. Okay.
4 dice showing consecutive values. Add 30 to your score. My journey score is now 134.
4 plus A2 is A6.
I shouldn't gamble it. I'm not going to re-roll again, especially since 25 seems to be a decent amount to add to the journey score. I added 25 for my 3 5s, and my journey score is now 124.
You pull into the parking lot of a restaurant you've never seen before. What compelled you to stop here? If you increase your journey score, you see a figure inside and feel the urge to sit and eat with them. What do you say to one another? There is a diner, of course, that is open late. It's open 24 hours. I saw a billboard as I was driving, and I didn't realize how much that anxiety of the day affected my hunger and that I hadn't really eaten anything all day. And call it a crime of convenience or a coincidence or whatever, this diner is at the right place at the right time. It's actually the next exit. So I pull over, I go to the diner there, and it's nearly empty. There's one person cooking, one person serving, and exactly one other patron in a booth in the far corner. And they have their back to the door, but there's something familiar about them. They don't necessarily look like another trucker, a transient. They are very still, broad shoulders. You can barely see the back of their head because their shoulders are so broad and their head is so like ducked down. And rather than take a booth by the door, or sit at the bar, which would be my inclination, my curiosity gets the best of me, and I go to see the front of this person and see if I know who they are. And when I do so, I see just like an elderly man who's just quite large, look up, and there's something in his face that says that's almost hopeful, like he was waiting for someone and I'm the someone. And while it's not someone that I recognize after all, and I'm sort of taken aback, I get this look that's like puppy dog eyes that I feel like I can't walk away from. And I give him a silent nod, and tip of my hat, and sit down in the booth next to him. I says, "What do you say to one another?" I think for a long time we don't talk. There's this sort of silent respect between the two of us, where I want to respect that this man was here alone and not impose upon him, but also keep him company and sort of like let him guide our interaction. And I notice when the server comes over to take his order that he doesn't speak, that he just points to the menu. And I sort of inherently, without really thinking about why, I do the same, and I keep the silent atmosphere going. And I think this silent bond sort of shows this degree of camaraderie and mutual respect. And he conveys to me so much through his facial expression and body language that I don't really feel the need to ask questions to dig deeper. I feel like I'm understanding who he is, and he's lonely, and he's maybe an outlier like I am, and he is tired and just sort of taking care of his animal self, his need to survive by eating something rather than doing nothing, and that's maybe all he can do today. And after the long day of driving and the night before, where turned restless, I'm kind of happy to be in the same situation of silent friendship with this person.
A pickup truck in the other lane is carrying something strange behind it. What is it? Why is it so hard for you to drive around it? I'm going to roll on the mysterious forces table. Got a 3, which is strings of coincidence, too strange to believe. Yeah, I bet. So we did a spell of excavation for something, which could be metaphorical or literal. I think that regardless of how literal or metaphorical it was, we did it in a quarry. And this pickup truck is carrying what sure would look like, I think there was a literal amount of like mass that we moved in this ritual for some reason. Like did displace a bunch of like rocks and stuff. And I just have the feeling when I'm behind this truck that it is carrying the rocks and everything that we displaced. It's hard for me to drive around it because they're falling off. It's dangerous. But I think the other thing that's odd is that like it doesn't look like the pile ever gets smaller. I can't drive past it or around it because like it really looks like rocks will just hit my windshield or like pierce my tires. But the road is weirdly clear, and like no matter how much falls off, it looks the same. And I wonder like this the thing that this is leading me to is the idea that we did this ritual to save someone's life. Like somebody was caught underground and the rest of the town had given up on them, but it was our friend and we hadn't, and nobody was moving fast enough to like get them out of there, and so we did this spell to just move a bunch of the earth. There's probably other stuff, but like that's one of the things. And so like I had the image of like a hand reaching out of the pile, and I think that's another thing. At a certain point I'm like, well, I'm sick of these, like it might be dangerous to try and go around, but it can't be that much better to just stand, like drive here behind it. I'm going to try and go around, and as I move up to pass, I see a hand reach out of the pile, and I stop to like watch, and it's gone. But when I go to move past, the hand reaches out again. And so I'm just stuck behind it. I think probably just until it turns off the road.
What kind of song is playing? What memories does it evoke? Are there unexpected sounds that permeate the music? Ooh, this is a great prompt. Yeah, I think the song... Okay, yeah. The song Iron Tusk by Mastodon off the album Leviathan plays. It's like a late night heavy metal show, I guess. And I think something that sort of if you know the sound of Mastodon, you know what the song sounds like. But if you don't, just think about what a band that names themselves Mastodon would sound like, and this kind of like the feel that you get. I think the element, the unexpected sounds that permeate the music would probably be the static. The hail outside is causing this sort of like interference with the truck's antenna, and it's sort of like causing the reception to sort of fluctuate in this kind of wonky way. And also the pinging of hail on the roof of the truck cab is oddly rhythmic and sort of elevates the tempo and the drudging beat of the song in a way that kind of is anxiety inducing, is more kind of like is likely to keep the blood flowing in this really particular way. And so Henry very much becomes overwhelmed and overstimulated by not just the interference, but also like the cacophony of this weather on his cab.
I'm gonna roll these dice. How many categories do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nice, and we've done 5.
Flying through these things now. Come on.
Okay, 1, 3, 4, 4, 5. Let's go for some 4s.
I rolled 3, 4, 6, 2, 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm gonna re-roll that 6 to try and see if it can be a 5, because that would give me a large straight.
I'm gonna re-roll the 1, 3, and 5. 1, 1, 2. I already did 2 pair, so
I rolled another 6. I'm gonna do it again. I got a 3. I'm gonna do it one more time, then I'm gonna give up.
2, 2, 2. Oh, would have loved 2, 2, 2 2 minutes ago, but
I need some gas, dude.
I rolled another 3. Okay. Well, this has put me in a terrible position, which I deserve.
1, 3, 5. Okay, I'm gonna roll one more time for oh no, that's not good. Ah, crap.
So I have a 1, a 2, 2 3s, and a 4. I'm gonna make a call. I'm gonna re-roll everything that isn't a 3 to try and get another 3 so I could do 3 of a kind. I did it. I rolled a 2 and a 6, and now I have 3 3s. Which, again, I might as well actually do 3s. Yeah.
Chance does allow me to refill my gas, and I do only have 10 left. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that.
You know what? We got 3 of a kind. I'm going to take it. I'm at fuel 20.
So that was 5 gasoline. Oof. Down to 12. I'm going to refuel shortly.
It says add the values of all dice to my journey score. So I've got 14, 15, 16, 16. That brings me to 150.
So add the value of all dice showing 3 to the journey score. 3, 6, 9. Not that many. Smallest journey score change yet. That's okay.
If you have 3 dice showing the same value, add the values of all the dice to the journey score. Okay, cool. So it's 2, 2, 2, 3, and 5. So that's 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 5 is 14, which brings us to 100. Awesome.
You stop to fill up your truck's tank. What do you pick up from the inside of the station that makes you think of home? Yeah, I just pull up to the gas station, pull the pump, and kind of walk in. I know it's going to be a minute. And I know it's not the safest or most responsible thing, but I feel like it's going to take a while to fill up this. It's gotten pretty low. I haven't let it get this low in quite a while. So I'll take my time, go and grab some energy drinks, get a sugar-free Gatorade and a Red Bull and mix them together. Highly recommend that for my energy-deprived and dehydrated friends out there. And what do I grab that reminds me of home? I think I'm going to grab... There's always all these like kitschy little like keychains and shit in truck stops. And I want to grab a little flashlight. It makes me think of like playing flashlight tag with the dog out in the backyard. I don't know how he developed this sense, but he'll kind of chase a light in a way similar to how cats chase a little laser beam. And we've turned it into a game, especially in the long, like humid Indiana summer nights, of just throwing a flashlight beam around and letting the dog run from side to side of the yard and catch a glimpse. And he always looks so like proud when he catches it and gets to like bask in the glow for a second until he gets distracted by a firefly and tries to eat it. And we just have like a good time. We'll just spend hours out in the backyard chasing light beams. And so I grabbed this little like utility flashlight. Maybe it's shaped like something stupid, a cartoon character. It's a SpongeBob flashlight. And yeah, I'm gonna buy it and like put it on my keychain. So while I'm driving, it's just dangling there next to me.
You go inside and find an attendant waiting for you. Where have you entered? What help are you looking for? If you increase your journey score, what does the attendant give you that lightens your load? This is a great prompt. I'm gonna keep saying that, so just get used to it. Yeah, I think that with all of the interference and the noise and the weirdness and the dredging up of all of the memories, I think Henry sort of like pulls into a rest stop gas station, and when he enters the establishment, like the convenience store sort of like attached area, first of all, there's like a lineup of other, or maybe it's a diner. Yeah, it's a diner. And there's an attendant, somebody who's sort of there to make sure that everybody's behaving and all that stuff. Because it is a diner that's frequented by truckers who can be kind of, temperamental and whatnot. And so, entering this sort of like all-night diner, Henry sort of like looks for a booth or an empty seat at the counter, and noticing that there's like a seat empty right by the register, he takes a seat and sort of waits. And I think at this point, Henry is just looking for some semblance of like personal contact, like other human beings, because yeah, he did pick up a hitchhiker earlier, but the encounter was spooky, to say the least. And, like with any encounter with a hitchhiker, is prone to sort of make you feel kind of at unease. And so Henry kind of just wants to be around people who are, for all intents and purposes, just doing normal stuff, who are not in imminent danger, because Brenda, the hitchhiker, is also like away and is kind of like in the middle of like the woods, presumably, like camping during a hailstorm, which is not a common thing around this area. So Henry just wants some normalcy. And the attendant, maybe the head hostess, she comes up and she hands Henry a glass of water with some ice and two pressed tablets. And he looks at them and they say aspirin on them. And he looks up and he says, "Oh, I don't need that." And she, a pin on the front of her uniform that says Lily, she sort of like says, "Now, before you say anything, I promise you it's just aspirin, but honey, you need to get some color back into your cheeks. So just take these, and then when you're ready to order, just let me know." And so Henry takes the aspirin and drinks the water and takes a few breaths and lets the sound of the jukebox sort of fill his ears, along with the din of several conversations happening in the diner. We've entered a bit of a sort of safe zone, sort of respite. I'm sure that our luck will continue to improve.
You see a car pass by. What figures do you see inside? Where do you imagine they're going? Ooh. So I think what this is that the truck that was carrying the weird dirt takes an exit, and then a car that was behind it like speeds up to fill in the gap. And what do I see inside? I'm going to roll on the Uncanny Visions table, I think. And maybe also the Mysterious Forces table. Got a 2, which is the future you wish you had, or an authority figure who wants you stopped. Ooh, those are both so good. I don't think I've established enough of an antagonist yet to go for the authority figure. So, the future you wish you had. Brutal. What do I literally see? Who's in there? I think one thing is that this is not... I don't see just like me and my ex. I see, is it me and the will they, won't they? I think one thing specifically is that this isn't necessarily the future I want right now, but this is like something, this is a vision that was comforting to me when things were really difficult. And so I think it is, in fact, my childhood will they, won't they, who I'm currently like slowly getting to know again. And yeah, it's us. It is a future. It's a future that I imagined, but it is a future that is in the past. So it's us 5 years ago, little bit younger, barely noticeable, but like I know, maybe because of like hair color or something. Like I've done a lot of just knowing in this journey, which I think makes sense. So I just know that the people I see in the car beside me, it's me, it's this person, and it's us if we're together. And I think in the back seat is like other friends. And I think it's interesting because I think there's one person I recognize, and then there's a couple of people I don't, because it's like we made new friends, you know? Ooh, and I think one of the things that's surreal about it, I become aware that the car is moving in the right direction, but it looks backwards. It's like they're backing up at full speed on this highway. And because I'm seeing them both simultaneously leaving our hometown on like a road trip and coming back to it. And I think like, yeah, that's where I imagine they're going is a nearby city that, you know, for a concert or something. I just have this glimpse of like, oh, what if we had gotten together, and then like, maybe I even just have the sense that actually we live in that city now, and we drove to the hometown to pick up some friends to bring to the city to stay with us to go to a concert. And yeah, this is like a fantasy that I had when things were really stressful in my previous relationship, that I'm just like, wow, I could be so happy. And I see that here. And then it's gone. They go far enough ahead of me and get by enough cars that they're just gone. And I do think that at this point, the sense that something is weird is starting to overtake me. Like, I'm like, okay, I have to start admitting that things are weird. Ooh, and somewhere in the back of my mind, I also have the memory of like, I'm trying to figure out what the person at the diner said to me, where she was like, hey, if you hear from your ex west of here, don't listen. I'm trying to figure out, does that mean like I should ignore anything weird, or anything weird that I see is trying to lead me astray? And I'm not sure yet, but seems possible. And who knows what that means for my relationship with that person. It's probably an omen, right? Saying like, make sure that you're actually getting to know this person rather than trying to force them to be like the symbol of hope that they were when you weren't actually speaking with them. I don't know. That's a lesson that I'll learn later. I don't know that I've learned anything yet.
So I'm back from 10 to 20 gasoline, and I'm rolling. I got about half of the prompts used up now.
Okay, we got 20 fuel left. And our score is currently 100. So let's give this a shake.
2 6s, a 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay. I'm going to reroll the 6s to get a 4 and a 5.
Okay. Whoa! I just rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's another large straight. Can't take it anymore, obviously.
Ooh. Full house. 2 2s and 3 3s. I've used the full house already, so I'm going to reroll these 2s. Try to get more 3s.
Nope. Got a 2. I'm going to reroll. So now I have 2 2s. I'm going to reroll everything that isn't a 2 to try and get some 2s. Nope. 1 6.
Nope, not that time. I'm going to give myself up to 5 rolls. Ooh. Oh no, those are 2s. Dang it. Yeah, I don't want to use up too much gas. Especially after I think what I just did might be the only chance to refill.
Would it be advantageous to just re-roll the whole thing again, or should I take this as chance?
I'm going to reroll one more time everything that isn't a 2. Wow. Nope. Okay. So I have 2 2s, I have a 3, a 4, and a 6. I am going to reroll one more time. I'm going to reroll the lowest dice. The 1, the 2. Am I going to reroll the 3? No. Yes, I am. Because I think that I'm going to do my refuel.
No, I kind of want to get other numbers. So I'm going to roll for 5s. So I got 1 5 on the board. Let's try and get some more.
I got a 4 and a 6, so I get one more roll. I'm giving myself one more roll.
When you do refuel, you add the value of all dice to the journey score. And so if I get higher on those, then I add more to the journey score. And I did for the most part. Okay, so I'm going to add 4. I have 2 6s, 2 4s, and a 2, which is 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's pretty good.
Okay, absolutely no 5s.
I did get one more 3. So I'm going to use the 4 of a kind. I don't know if that's smart. I don't know what the Yahtzee strategy.
I'm going to re-roll one more time. Come on, 5s. Come on, 5s. Oh! I got 1 5, so that brings my score to 105. Great.
And I'm going to add 10 to my gas. So I'm back up to 18 gas. Whew. And my journey score is 155. So I've at least gotten to a good-ish ending.
4 of a kind is the stranger. If you have 4 dice showing the same value, add the values of all dice to the journey score. 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 166.
A pickup truck in the other lane is carrying something strange behind it. What is it, and why is it so hard for you to drive around it? Okay, so after leaving the diner and having refueled and had a late night dinner or an early breakfast, it being the middle of the night and all, Henry decides to get back on the road, and it's not long before he comes across a pickup truck, which has something, what is... Okay, you know what it is? It's one of those, like those very small trailers that you can connect to the backs of like pickup trucks or cars. And it's kind of frustrating because Henry swears that this is the exact same camper style pickup attachment thing that he and Dylan used to use to travel the roads and like make it to different towns and to like do all sorts of like traveling as wrestlers like in. And the reason why he thinks it's the same one is because spray painted on the back of them, on the back of this trailer, is it's this really goofy stencil of a Bigfoot crossing like sign. But the thing is that that's definitely something that Dylan put on the back of their truck their camper truck so that they could like be seen and, oh, it's part of branding. Don't you get it, Henry? Like, so that trailer was sold almost a year and a half ago, shortly after the accident, because, well, Henry needed money to pay for his medical bills. So he, of course, got rid of the stuff that he wasn't going to use. And the reason why he can't get past it is because he doesn't really want to overtake the truck because, you know, seeing his former property out there in the wild, it feels like a sign. It feels like at any moment Dylan's gonna stick his head out the back window and wave at him, and that moment just never comes. And eventually the pickup truck takes an exit and it's gone.
You stop to fill up your truck's tank. What do you pick up from inside the station that makes you think of home? I'm gonna roll on the bad memories table. 4, things will never be the same. I pick up a bottle of soda that... So you think of the way that soda branding has changed. There was like what it looked like in like the 70s, and then they update and they update and they update. And then at a certain point, they decide to do a nostalgic line. And so they're like, our new branding, at least for this flavor, is based off of what our branding looked like in the 90s. And I have a moment of like, I see this soda in the fridge and I'm like, oh my God, it's just like, oh. And I look closer and like, it's not the exact same, right? Like the bottles are slightly different plastic. It is still like an updated version of the branding. And so it's not quite the same, but it is a throwback. And I like, it makes me think of home because like, I just have such a sense memory, like this physical memory of us as kids pooling our money together to buy these and like cracking them open on a hot summer day. And I buy a few. I buy one for me and then I'm like, I'm going to bring these home just in case they haven't seen them. Maybe they haven't hit my hometown for some reason. Yeah. Fake retro soda is what I pick up.
You stop on the road and meet a stranger. Where have you stopped? What does the stranger know about you that sends shivers down your back? If you increased your journey score, how do you banish the stranger? I see like a 20-something with a big old like hiking backpack and a cardboard sign that I can't quite read, but I can assume it means they're looking for a ride. And so I pull over. I've kind of had this charming interactions with real people in the last 48 hours that are, you know, maybe I'll pay it forward and pick up this person who needs a ride. And it's just on the side of the road. It's maybe between rest stops in like a long stretch. So I'm not sure where they've come from, where they're going, but they must have been out here quite a while to get to this stretch. There's not like the street lights are even pretty far apart, and we're in between them. Obviously the safest and coolest place to pick up a stranger. And I ask like where they're headed, where they want to go. They say like, oh, I'm just getting anywhere. I'm going out of town, and the further you can take me from here, the better. And I get that. So I get them in the truck and say like, okay, we start shooting the shit. Like, tell me where you're from, how you ended up here. Like, I'm hoping this person can at least entertain me for a little while they continue the drive until we get to maybe the next truck stop where I'll let them off at a safe spot. And they say they're from Hebron, Indiana, and that's where I'm from. And they're in between graduating high school and considering going to college. And they mentioned the high school that I graduated from and the college that I got accepted to and never attended. And it's a really strange coincidence. I think the first coincidence, the fact that we're both from Hebron, sends me intrigued. The high school, the college, the continuing coincidences, if we can call them that, they start to give me this sense of unease again. And I finally say, like, oh, like, well, I'm not headed all the way back to Indiana on this trip, but, like, how about I just drop you at the next rest stop? You'll be able to find another truck there or a place to stay or shower or whatever. And they say, well, don't you have to get back to Duke? The dog, of course. And I kind of, like, instinctually slam on the brakes, the loud engine brakes just howling in this sort of absent gap of highway somewhere in the Midwest. And I just sort of freeze up. I don't know what to say. Like, I didn't mention Duke. I didn't mention any of this stuff that they have in common. And I just, like, need to be alone again. I think I don't necessarily banish them actively, but the conversation makes me feel ill. I have to stop driving and I have to throw up. And I think I can't quite hold it until the truck comes to a complete stop and I can go out and puke on the road, and it lands all in my lap, and it reeks of diner coffee and stomach acid. And the person next to me kind of laughs in awkward disgust and hops out of the truck and, says, like, I'll find my own way, like, see her around. Damn it, I should have came up with a character name at the start of the game because I want to hit it right here. I'm so bad at names. I'm looking around my desk. Samson is my name. Duke and Samson. So yeah, he kind of laughs and hops out of the passenger seat onto the road and says, I'll find my own way the rest of the way. See you around, Samson. And I just, like, am sat there kind of, like, my eyes watering from having thrown up and taken aback by the conversation that we've had and how unsettling and weird and, like, beyond coincidence it must be. And I don't see the hitchhiker in the dark of the highway as I kind of get ready to continue driving.
Okay.
So I head back to my truck with my sodas.
More dice rolling. Yay. Wow. Okay.
2 1s, a 4, and 2 5s.
3 5s, a 6, and a 4.
Do I still have 5s? No.
2 5s, 1 3 6. Let's go for 5s. Or 5 of a kind. That would be great. Something's telling me, I got 3 2s. Maybe I'll swap and go for the 2s.
Could re-roll for 1s.
I could go for a small straight, which is 4 consecutive dice in a row.
3 and 6. Damn it.
I could go for a 3 by re-rolling these 2 5s, so...
I think that's my best bet.
4 and 3. One more.
2 6s and a 4.
I rolled a 5 and a 6. Gosh darn it. I need a 3. I just need... God, if you're out there, fuck off.
I guess at this point, or relatively soon, I have to just start picking the categories that I can't actually fulfill. Do I want to give it one more go? I do.
3 and 6. Okay. Well...
Okay. Okay, hilariously, I did get a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I did get a large straight again, but I'm just going to take the small straight.
I got another 1 and a 2 and a 4. So I got 3 1s, got a 2, I've got a 4.
I have 10 gas left. I'm going to use this as the 2s. So I didn't get 5 of a kind, and I didn't get very much of anything.
Could do 3 of a kind, could do 1s.
Oh, gosh.
I think I'm going to do 1s. Add the value of all dice showing 1s to the journey score. 3. Not that impressive.
Add the values of all dice showing 2s to the journey score, which is only 6. I'm at 172.
If you have 4 dice showing consecutive values, add 30 to the journey score. It brings you to 135.
And the prompt is, what does the weather suddenly change to? What is unnatural about it? Ooh. I'm going to roll Maybe on uncanny visions, maybe on mysterious forces. Got a 4, which is the swirl of black mist. Threats to livelihood you don't understand on mysterious forces. Swirl of black mist. I mean, obviously, what this means is that the weather changes to the weather the night we did the ritual. Like, exactly. Which, for the drama, rain, of course. Ooh, and it's like rain, but it's also a little bit of slush, because we were doing this in like the late fall or in the winter. Yeah, that's part of why this kid who was lost in the tunnels or mines or whatever, people were giving up, because like the ground is frozen. We can't get to them. And so this was in the winter. And so, yeah, that's what it is. It isn't rain. It isn't even slush. It is full on snow. And it's the middle of summer right now as I'm driving. And so that makes no sense. Yeah. And I think it's like, I'm just going down this long stretch. I just refueled. I wonder if it's like I pull out of the gas station, and as soon as I merge back onto the highway, it starts snowing, which makes no sense because it's the middle of summer. It's hot. And I think that's it. I think it is snowing. Is it literally, like, is it harder to drive? Yeah, I think so. Like, the road does actually feel slippery. I'm trying to decide if it's more interesting if people around me are obviously affected by it or if they aren't. I think they are, but it's unclear if it's weird to them. It's like there is this unstuck in time feeling that's happening, right? And so everyone around me like slows down a little bit, but I look and I don't see anybody like marveling. Everyone just sort of is like, oop, yep, snow started, don't worry about it. But I am worried because it's weird.
What kind of song is playing? What memories does it evoke? Are there unexpected sounds that permeate the music? I am listening to whatever station comes in. It kind of comes and goes, and listening to generally like the country stations. And When the Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks is playing. And it's a song that I remember like the music video for when I was a kid would kind of creep me out and scare me. I was also afraid of natural disasters specifically. So the thunder and lightning imagery, and then which are obviously like metaphors in the song for, I think, violence. But it reminds me of being a kid and being afraid of thunderstorms. And I think I know there's thunder in the beginning of the song, but I think the thunder kind of goes throughout the entire song on this radio station. And then the song ends, and there's seconds that turn into minutes of silence punctuated by clapping thunder through the radio. And I hit scan and I try to find the next station that'll come in, and it's just more thunder. It's not raining outside. There's no storm. The night sky is clear and I can see stars, but every station on the radio is playing thunder, and it lasts for long enough to make me just shut off the stereo completely, and I drive in silence from there for who knows how long.
You pull into the parking lot of a restaurant you've never seen before. Great. What compelled you to stop here? If you increase your journey score, you see a figure and feel the urge to sit and eat with them. What do you say to one another? Yeah, Henry, again, feels like he has, because he didn't get a lot of sleep, because he had the encounter with the shape of Dylan, he really starts to feel like he's like it's a bad time to start driving. And having seen this trailer and not being able to trust whether it was real or not, Henry decides, you know what? I'm just going to go and find something to eat. So he pulls into a restaurant that, yeah, he has never seen before. But again, he's only been driving trucks for about a year at this point. So he hasn't seen everything yet. And even if he has seen it, did he register it the first dozen times they saw it? Probably not. But nonetheless, he pulls into this restaurant and he sees that it's pretty well dead. But sitting with her back turned is a woman with long black hair in her appears to be mid-50s. And sat next to her on the booth are some shopping bags. And Henry cannot believe what he's seeing. He has got to be at least 24 miles from where he dropped off Brenda. But here she appears to be. So he cautiously walks up behind her and still not quite believing whether or not it's her. He slowly turns around and sort of like approaches her, and sure as shit, it's her. It's Brenda sitting at the booth of this nondescript restaurant. She turns and she says, "Oh, hi, Henry." And Henry goes, Brenda? What are you doing here?" Brenda sort of just gives like an incredulous look, kind of like blows it off and says, "Oh, it was definitely not a good idea to try and rough it. I did not expect the hail to come so soon this year, and my tent got completely obliterated by the hail, so I had to wing it and head on back into town, so I'm actually waiting for another ride." Huh. Henry sort of just like puts it together in his head that it's possible that things went that way, but time has dilated in such a odd way that he's not really sure what to believe. So he takes a seat across from her and they order some food. She's actually already halfway through her breakfast, and the sun is not due to rise for at least another hour and a half or so, but they get talking and, with a couple more cups of coffee in him, Henry starts to talk, and they talk about wrestling. They talk about their favorite performers and Henry talks about his influences and coming up in the business with Dylan and all this other stuff. And Brenda just talks his ear off about where she's been and all of the weird stuff that's happened to her and where she's going. And they have a lovely conversation. In the end, Henry offers to drive Brenda to the next town, and she takes his offer. And eventually, after they pay the check, they both head out and they head down the road. Yeah. Yay. Yay. A good, wholesome moment in the life of Henry Chambers.
And I'm going to roll the next turn.
Got 3 5s. I like that.
A 3, 2 5s, a 6, and a 1.
Whoa. Why do I keep rolling 6s and 5s? 6, 6, 5, 5, 3.
I'm going to just give myself 2 rerolls this time.
Yeah, I'm going to reroll everything that isn't a 5. Try and do either 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind.
Ooh, I got 4 of a kind.
Nope, I rolled a 1. I rolled 2 1s and a 2. I'm going to do it one more time.
I'm still going to roll this last die. Hope to get 5 of a kind.
Oh my god, 2 4s and a 3. Okay.
I have not gone for 6s yet. I have gone for 5s and have not gone for 3s. So I'm going to roll these 2 5s and try and get either a 3 or a 6.
Well, in that case, I'm going to do 4s. 4s, add the value of all dice showing 4s to the journey score. So I'm going to add 8 to my journey score. Not very impressive. You know what? Actually, I'm going to re-roll one more time. I'm going to re-roll everything that isn't a 4 to see if I can get another 4, because I'm getting near the end anyway.
Aha, I got another 6. Awesome. So that brings me down to 14 fuel.
No, I did not get it. So this is going to be my 5s.
I got a 1, a 2, a 3. I could really gamble on this and re-roll one of those 4s to see if it'll be a 5, which would give me a large straight. I'm going to do it. I know it's not a good idea. I'm going to do it anyway. And I rolled another 4 with it. So ultimately, yep, it all comes down to add an 8 to that journey score. That is totally fine. Gas score down to 10. That was actually incredibly foolhardy. That's okay. Let's go.
Add the value of all dice showing 6s to the journey score. So 6 times 3 is 18.
Add the value of all 5s, which is 20, at 192.
So it brings me to 143? No, 153.
A pickup truck in the other lane is carrying something strange behind it. What is it? Why is it so hard for you to drive around it? Yeah, I can see the blinking lights before I reach the truck. The emergency hazards on as a vehicle indicates that they're maybe driving under the speed limit, and in this case, crossing over the center line into both lanes that makes it difficult to pass. And it's a truck, like a pickup truck that has like a single horse trailer, the kind that has holes in it that you can see through for the animal to breathe, but it's got all the like straps and doodads to keep the horse stable. And there's no horse inside of it that I can see. Like there's the wider ones at the top where the you can see through to the other side, but I can see legs in the bottom portion, horse's legs that are kind of like tiptoeing around, not really like doing anything per se, but I don't see what they're attached to. I don't see a horse's head. I don't see the horse's upper body through the bigger gaps in the trailer that are easier to see through. And as I'm trying to pass it and navigate the road around it, I can't help but continue to look through and see, in this repeating blinking red light of their emergency hazards, the shadow of these horses' legs moving within the trailer and nothing else indicating that there's a horse inside.
You slow down as the highway becomes the main street of a small town. What in this town feels familiar? What in this town feels out of place? Again, this is very serendipitous because I am carrying a passenger at the moment. So Henry and Brenda take a little ride down the highway and they're listening to music and maybe do a little bit of carpool karaoke, but not in like a cringe way, in like a dudes rock kind of way. But eventually they do come across this small town called Shallow, and it's a little small thing, but Brenda very much recognizes it as a place where her cousins live, and she asks Henry to pull over just in front of the local town hall. Henry and Brenda, they hug, and Brenda gives Henry her number, and Henry decides to give Brenda his number. And they agree that whenever he's coming through this county, again, that they meet up and maybe grab another bite to eat. But while Henry is getting back to his truck, he hears a church bell ring, which is very odd because it's still pretty much early morning. It's still very much like the sun is just about to come up. The sound of these church bells sort of reminds him of the church on his reservation, which also had this old bell tower, but instead of having an actual bell, decided to have like a digital recording of bells. And when that sound rings, Henry very much remembers being younger and going to Sunday school because that was like the thing to do on the reservation on Sundays because there was literally nothing else around. And at that exact same moment that the bells stop ringing out, he turns and he sees a man standing under a lamppost that still has not turned off yet because of how dark it is, even though the sun is starting to rise. And he sees this man who's turned to him, leaning up against this lamppost, and the man is smoking, and he has hair that goes past his shoulders, and down his back. He's wearing a leather jacket with a denim vest sewn over top. In the glow of the ember at the end of the cigarette, he sees Dylan's face. Henry just turns around. He cannot physically look at the shape. And as he turns around, he starts to breathe very heavily. And he searches his pockets for his truck keys. And he starts heading in the direction of the parking lot where he kept his truck. And as he is crossing the street and heading towards that parking lot, all of the street lights in this small town turn off. He turns instinctually and the figure is gone. So he gets in his truck and turns over the engine and pulls out.
You pass a billboard that catches your eye. Why can't you stop thinking about it hours later? And it is, in fact, hours, because, oh my god, I used so much gas in that turn. A billboard that catches my eye. I'm going to roll on a bunch of these tables, I think. I rolled a 2, which uncanny visions are the future you wish you had. Bad memories, your most shameful regret. Ominous statements, don't look behind you. I'm stopping there. That's perfect. It is a billboard that literally says, don't look behind you. And I think what it is that also it isn't just one billboard. First, I see a billboard that is clearly for a movie. And so I just think like the title is Don't Look Behind You. I'm like, okay. And then I see another billboard in a completely different style that also says Don't Look Behind You. And I think, oh, they must be doing some weird campaign with like multiple billboards that all look different. Weird, but like, sure, whatever. And then there's what clearly is an album release. It has a date on it. It has this CD cover, single streaming now. Don't Look Behind You. And with increasing hesitancy, I'm like, maybe it's the soundtrack? And then they just get more and more surreal. I see a perfume, like a perfume ad that says Don't Look Behind You. I see 2 people in cheap suits posing in what clearly looks like a scummy local lawyer billboard. It's like, injured at work? And then like 3 other questions. And then really large text. It says, don't look behind you. And a phone number. And they make less and less sense. They stop trying to make sense. It's, a Dairy Queen logo, 5 kilometers, don't look behind you. And then eventually just don't look behind you. Over and over, these billboards. And I can't stop thinking about it hours later because it was fucking weird. And there is still a weak part of me being like, maybe it's all viral marketing for a movie actually. But I don't actually think it is. And I think it's making me nervous, especially because I've spent so much of this time like meditating on the past that I'm like, fuck. And I think they just keep going until I take an exit. They're all along this really long stretch of highway. And then I take an exit, I go through town, I get on another highway, and I keep looking at all the billboards, but they're all normal. But I think about it every time I see a billboard. Maybe forever, but certainly for this drive. Let's go to turn 10. This has been Folio, an actual play podcast about solo and otherwise self-paced TTRPGs. You can find transcripts, game statistics, and more at foliopod.site. You can help pay for hosting costs, game purchases, and maybe eventually a bit of my production labor at patreon.com/foliopod or ko-fi.com/foliopod. You can find Adam on bluesky at worldchamp.bsky.social, and you can find their games at worldchamp.io. You can find Joe at thebedroompunk.bsky.social. You can find Satah, that's me, at posatachips.gaygothvibes.online, at bluesky, and my stuff generally at gaygothvibes.online. Next week, Adam and Joe and I will continue our games of Highway Haunt by Jacqueline Lewis. Everything I mentioned here is linked in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening, and take care out there.